Hello everyone, it is Coach Selena here with a midweek check-in for you. I'd like to talk with you a little bit about transitions, how you make it through the chaos of a transition and then find your new normal on the other side. This is a season right now where transitions abound. They're abundant everywhere. We're having back to school transitions. We are having end of summer transitions. We're leaving vacations behind, getting back into the quote regular swing of things. We're entering into the fall business season. I'm really thinking about transitions a lot personally because as a family, we're transitioning from having 5 people in our house to having 4 people in our house. Our oldest daughter is going to college, so transitions are right at the tippy top of my mind. Transitions can feel like the sand is slipping out from under your feet, even when it's a good, wonderful thing that you want to happen. Transitions can feel chaotic. We can feel out of sorts. We can have all of these emotions bubbling up to the surface, all of these demands, either that we're putting on ourselves or that other people we're feeling they're putting onto us. Transitions can feel chaotic and we can lose our footing sometimes and struggle to find where's my new normal? What's this next season going to really look like? So I'd like to just give you a few words of encouragement, a few tips, a few things that you can look out for as you're going through a transition. These are tips that have helped me. They're currently helping me, trying to keep them top of mind in our transition. They have helped my clients in the past, and I know that they will be a great help to you too. So if you're not going through a transition now, you might want to bookmark this and save it for later when you are going through that transition. So tip number 1 is give yourself time. Transitions take time. We're not going to sort it all out and figure it out what this new season is going to look like that. There's going to be some bumps along the way. There's going to be some uncertainty. Time will help some of those things to kind of shake out. You also want to give yourself time to grieve what you're leaving and to celebrate what you're walking into. Whether it's a transition that you are excited about or hopeful for or really desired, or it's a transition that's been thrust upon you, or something in the middle, whenever we leave something, there's a grief attached to that, a grief of how we wished it would be, a grief of how it was, a grief of something that we love and adored. And we need to acknowledge that. It's an important part of the transition process. Give yourself time to grieve what you're leaving behind. Also, however, we need time to celebrate and be excited for what we're moving toward. Again, even if whether it's something of your own choosing or something that's been thrust upon you again, there are going to be blessings and excitement and new beginnings in this transition to come. What can you find to celebrate? What can you find to look forward to? What can you find to be excited about as you step into this new place, into this transition? So time's important with giving ourselves time to grieve what we're leaving behind and time to celebrate what we're stepping into, where we're going. And during a transition, time is weird. Funky things start happening to it. Things that you think are going to take forever are going to happen overnight, and things that you think are going to be a snap and easy are going to drag out forever. Time just acts so funny in a transition. So expect things to take longer than you planned, and then for other things to happen so much faster than you even expected. Give yourself time. That is tip number 1 for how to move through a transition from stepping out of the chaos and stepping into a new normal. Tip number 2 that I have for you: reevaluate your priorities. This is really key, and to do it on purpose. In the previous way that your life was organized, you settled down to certain priorities that you had. A few things that when push comes to shove were the most important to you. Most of the time during a transition, your priorities are going to be different on the other side. Sometimes we know what those are going to be, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's a bit of a discovery process in figuring it out. But just know that your priorities are going to change, and you're going to need to reevaluate them as you go along. I've coached with several people who are in the midst of transition, or going through transition, or finished a transition, and they're a little bit stuck because they carried their old priorities into the new place where they are. And they're, it's just not fitting. It's not working out. I'm spending a lot of time over here, and this is getting neglected. In a transition, priorities need to be reshuffled, reimagined, and reworked. So, for an example of the transition that we're going through with our oldest daughter going to college, it's shifting a lot of the priorities of my roles as her mother, shifting a lot of the responsibility over to her, less to me. Those things that she used to help with at the house, man, we gotta find new people to help with that at the house, shifting those priorities, shifting those roles. The way that I show up for her is going to be completely different, more of a mentor role than a director role, right? And with any transition, a lot of those things happen over time, but the line in the sand is coming where it's definitely this new normal. What are the new priorities going to be? You've got to reevaluate those. Your old priorities will have an end, and your new priorities will have a beginning. Don't bring the old ones over just by default. Some of them you will, but do it on purpose. Don't do it by default. Think about, what are my new priorities in this season that I'm transitioning to? Okay? That will help take you out of the chaos and step confidently into a new normal. And my third tip for you is make an adjustable plan for how you're going to move forward. Recognizing that it's going to take time, recognizing that you need to shift your priorities. See if you can start to put together the skeleton of the new plan for what this transition is going to look like in your new normal, right? So we're transitioning into a new school year. So beginning to look like, what is that going to look like with making sure children get where they need to be? You can manage all of your business, things that you have going on, all of the school activities, the extracurricular activities that are starting up again. What kind of skeleton plan can you start to put together for how that's going to look in this new normal that you are putting together, knowing that it's going to need to be adjustable, flexible. Make it, but hold it kind of loosely so that you can see how things shake out, and that will help you leave the chaos of this transition and step into the consistency and the power of this new normal. One of the great resources that you might like to use during this transition time is the time blocking worksheet. It is a free resource that I made just for you. It has a part at the top to talk about the roles. What roles are your priority right now? What goals are you really focused on in this season? And then helps you lay out your calendar so that you are making those things happen in there with your new normal. Time blocking worksheet, perfect resource for helping you get through a transition, taking you out of that chaos and putting you into your new normal. I wish you so much luck in this season of transition that you are in. Tell me how it's going for you. Share with me where your obstacles are, and I bet you can get a few new tips to help you along moving from chaos into your new normal. I wish you so many blessings in this next season.